Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Candy Valentino Show. Thanks for tuning in with me today as we go into our business breakdown or business review. We haven't quite nailed the title of these segments, so if you have an opinion on which one that you like best, please let us know. And if you have a suggestion for the show or a question that you want me to answer directly, send over your question, business or finance, to us here at the show. You can go to media@candyvalentino.com and email or send us a voice memo with your question. Today, we are going to be breaking down one of my favorite entrepreneurs who I've had the pleasure of meeting, John Paul DeJoria. And we're going to talk about how he built not just one, but $2 billion brands and businesses. And his story is quite remarkable. John is the founder of the tequila Patron and co-founder of the mega hair company, John Paul Mitchell's. Most people cannot obviously navigate building $1 billion brand and company. John has done that twice and is still going at his age now that he's in his 70s. And in this episode, we're going to break into exactly what gave John the edge to do this not just once, but twice. And of course, the edge, as we talk about in these episodes, comes from the concept directly in my new book, The 9% Edge, which is available everywhere that you can pre-order or buy your books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you shop, independent bookstores. And we break into exactly what entrepreneurs can do in order to give them the edge to be part of the 9% of businesses who become successful in business. Today, we're going to break down what John's edge truly is and how you can apply this in your business. So I'm super excited to get into his story because I think he has some of the best traits that an entrepreneur can develop that will translate into your bottom line and into your overall success and happiness in life. So John Paul comes from very humble beginnings. You hear that he's a billionaire now, and his last exit was at $5.1 billion. But he was in foster care at the age of 9. His mom didn't have the ability to provide for him and his siblings, so he and his brother were placed in foster care. And despite these hardships and this very difficult early life, he really developed an entrepreneurial spirit because he had to. He had a lot of leverage. He had a brother that was in foster care with him. He was going from house to house. His mother wasn't around. I mean, it was just some of the most difficult things that obviously people should never have to deal with. Yet he and his brother supported themselves and their family by going and selling Christmas cards and newspapers door to door. And obviously an experience like this really instilled the profound understanding of hard work and responsibility in John at a young age, which is why it wasn't a big shock when he launched his own business selling hair products with $700 to his name. He was currently living out of his car before his business really took off. He had no backup plan. He took massive financial risk, the only $700 that he had to his name, and he invested it with his friend, Paul Mitchell. And the duo launched what we know today as John Paul Mitchell Systems, also known as Paul Mitchell Hair Care. Their initial product was shampoo. That's it. One product developed by Mitchell. The packaging was super simple and basic. White bottles, black letters. And this approach really was due to their lack of funds, but later became a symbol to their resourcefulness and a very iconic packaging for their brand. John's decision to invest that last $700 he had and live out of his car was obviously high risk. You know, they faced significant challenges, financial instability, saturated market, going up against mega brands that have been around like L'Oreal and Revlon forever. They didn't have anywhere to even call home. So they were using his car to live in, to do business in, to drive around and sell from. And when he wasn't sleeping in his car, he was going door to door in LA to salons all across the city. And like so many other founders and entrepreneurs we hear from, he got rejected one after another after another. People were hesitant to take a chance on a new product with a guy that had no money and a name that nobody knew. Yet he was relentless. And eventually, as we know, that paid off. And with that belief in himself, in their product, they were able to convey that passion to other people, which then got them some accounts. And it really started as this very small operation that grew and grew to become one of the largest names and players in the beauty industry. And by 2019, Forbes estimated the company was just under $1 billion in sales. So when John first began to notice that his company was growing and his wallet was growing, he made a conscious decision when he didn't have a lot of money not to change his lifestyle. So during the time he lived in his car, he lived off of $2.50 a day. Imagine that, $2.50 a day. And as he continued to make more money, he didn't spend more money. This is how you truly become wealthy, when you live below your means and you can invest the rest, whether it's into a business or diversifying your investment portfolio. Now, this was obviously during the 1970s, and $2.50 could go a little bit further than it does today. I think today it's like a candy bar or something. Obviously, you could get maybe 4 candy bars back in the day, but that's beside the point. It's still a crucial lesson in personal finance and business, because I see so many entrepreneurs that as they grow, as their revenue grows, as their bank account grows, their lifestyle grows. And then they're always trying to feed the machine of getting more money, because oftentimes people see that extra zero in their bank account and think that they should start looking richer and spending more. But that's the number one way you lose your money, is trying to look rich and impressing people that don't really care about you. You don't necessarily need to buy that new car or replace half of your closet just because you have an extra zero at the bottom of your bank account. Create a budget and stick to it. That's so important in your personal finances, and it's important in your business as well. And I know so many entrepreneurs that are just flying by. They don't have a budget. They don't have financial forecasts. They don't have any allocations of where money should go where into what accounts. And because of that, they're continually chasing new customers and new revenue, and their business doesn't actually ever become sustainable. It doesn't become part of the 9% to really survive and thrive. And oftentimes business owners are getting caught up in this idea that because so-and-so and so-and-so built a $100 million or a $500 million or a $1 billion business, that is the badge that they need to go after. But you may want to create a different level of life than what that person has created. So maybe you don't want 10 more employees, because now you're not going to be able to do what you truly love in your business, and now you're going to be a manager of those people. Remember that there are multiple ways to build a successful business. So when I'm sharing with you stories like I'm sharing with you today about someone's success, pull inspiration from it, learn from it. When we unpack later how he got his edge and how he's applying that in his business that made him super successful, learn from that, but also know that there are so many ways that you can be successful. And if you don't plan the way you want your life to look, your business can actually derail you from that plan as opposed to get you closer to it. And for John, this being frugal was not just his personal preference. It was a deliberate strategy that helped him maintain financial stability, and it gave him the ability to reinvest in his business ventures. And this discipline, this approach gave him the focus to go all in long term rather than short term gratification of the new thing or the flashy thing or the whatever the latest trend that social media is telling you to jump on. He reinvested his earnings into expanding the business and really explored new opportunity. And before we get to really unpack his edge, let's talk about his partnership with Paul Mitchell. Partnerships are often a disaster. It's commonly a hot issue for entrepreneurs because so many people have dealt with bad partnerships, and things, if they're not mapped out, can really go sideways quickly. But in this case, Paul Mitchell and John DeJoria, their partnership really thrived off of their talents being different. They really needed each other. Mitchell was the visionary. He had the expertise in hair care. He really knew what a good product should be, should feel like, should look like, how it should work. But John, on the other hand, he knew the business side. Remember, he was the early entrepreneur. He understood bookkeeping and marketing and everything else that was needed to really grow and run a business. Because of the partnership that they had and the way that they valued each other and each other's skill set and what they brought to the table, they kind of allowed each other the free rein to do what they did best, and they didn't step on each other's toes. This created the perfect situation for a partnership to flourish. When done right, which most time they're not done right, but when done right, a partnership can be a massive benefit to your growth as an entrepreneur. Now, obviously, in this case, their partnership worked out extremely well. They are now doing well over $1 billion in revenue. But let's break down DeJoria, because John Paul DeJoria obviously not just built $1 billion company, but he built two. And let's look at the business side of this, is what exactly gave him the edge to do this 2 times. Well, first, I feel like there is a reoccurring theme with a lot of these business owners and entrepreneurs that we're breaking down during this segment of how they handle rejection. John Paul faced countless rejection, just like Sarah Blakely, just like the founder of Canva. He again and again faced rejections from salon owners and industry distributors saying that you're too early, it's too saturated, and you don't have a big name. His mindset handling those rejections was huge. And really, if he would have seen it a different way, we wouldn't have the 2 mega brands that we have today. Okay, welcome back. So let's get into John's edge. First and foremost, his response to adversity. If you saw a theme in the last few of these that we've done since we kicked off this new season and this new segment of breaking down what makes businesses successful and gave them their edge in order to really become part of the biggest industries and biggest leaders that our country and even some in the world that we've seen, you can tell that the way they handle rejection is key. And I know every single person listening to this episode right now has experienced things in life, whether adversities, challenges, circumstances, just like John Paul DeJoria did, things that no one should have to experience, whether that was in your childhood or your family or a relationship. But the most beautiful thing to remember is that you can feel all of this adversity. You can have so many challenges. You can have the feeling that every single rock is thrown in your path to trip you up, and you can still succeed. You can have rejection and still succeed. You can have challenge and still succeed. And we have seen it time and time again of the most successful, inspiring people that we look at. And it's their way that they view rejection as more of a stepping stone rather than some hard barrier to their success. And so many of the people that we've talked to, the most successful people I know, the wealthiest people I know, have really all faced some sort of rejection and adversity. But I love the way John Paul puts it. He says that he prepares for rejection, that he anticipates it, and that he will be rejected hundreds of times before he finally gets a yes. He prepares for it. He goes into it knowing so that he's not surprised or caught off guard when the rejection happens. And I think there is so much confidence that we can take from that, of how we can handle rejection better. And we just look at it as part of the journey as opposed to something that is trying to distract us or take us away from the thing that we want to achieve. And I think that if I had to look at why is he able to handle that so well compared to other people who can't, like why does he have such confidence in order to handle that? I think the second thing that really gave him his edge is the emphasis that they put on the quality of their products. They really planned to create an exceptional product. They planned to disrupt an industry. They planned to create the best shampoo on the market. They planned to provide the best customer service. It wasn't by chance. You know, when he first started Patron, it was because it was the best tequila that he ever tasted. And I don't know if you've ever had Patron, but let me tell you, it is one of the best tequila I've ever tasted. He first focused on product quality, making it exceptional. He planned to make it the best in the category. That's what enabled him to sell the company for over $5 billion in 2018. Paul Mitchell and Patron are both known for high standards and exceptional products. John's emphasis on making the product excellence and not just noise in an industry has really been a driving force behind his success and has contributed to the strong reputation of brands and why people come back time and time again in order to purchase from him and these companies. Too many business owners really focus on marketing in sales as opposed to planning of what is your product going to be in the vertical or the market that you're going to go in. Now, I'm not saying that the other things are not important. Obviously you need to market, you need to sell, you need to make sure that you have proof of concept and people will buy your products and services. But once you know that you have proof of concept, or once you believe enough in what you're doing, making sure that you have a great product that you can continuously sell to your customers and not always have to go attract new customers and consumers every time will mean everything. It will drive down customer acquisition costs. It'll increase your profit. Focusing on creating an excellent product isn't just a talking point. It's really a way that he established his edge in the industry, and it is also a way that he approaches sales, which I think is the third thing that really gives him the edge of being successful. He did something unique. He wanted to make sure that he wasn't having the high customer acquisition costs where every single time he created a new product or a new vertical or built a new company that he had to go find new people. He specifically focused on customer retention opposed to new sales. And this approach is rooted in the idea that if a product is exceptional, customers will naturally want to come back and they will naturally share and tell other people about it. John is not just selling a product, he's selling an experience. He's educating the customer on what the product is and why this is a best-in-class type of value. He sees helping customers understand the benefits of what he sells so that they can be advocates and raving fans. This also ensures customer satisfaction, which, as we know, will increase retention, will drive down your churn rate, increases loyalty, and really helps you develop a sustainable, strong customer base. These are all lessons that we all can learn in business of ways that we can get our customers to be our raving fans, to double down on perfecting our product, and really finding that beautiful spot between rejection and resilience, so that no matter what life throws your way, that you can continue going down, forging your own path to your ultimate success. These are all things you can implement today to improve your revenue, to increase profitability, and really create a sustainable, scalable, and eventually sellable business. All right, guys, that's all for today's episode. If you liked this episode, please let us know. Drop us a comment, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Support everyone here at the show. And as always, if you have a question that you want me to answer on the show directly about business or finance, send us an email to media@candyvalentino.com. Text or voice memo, and we may answer yours live on the show in a future episode. Thanks again for tuning in and sharing this time with me. We'll see you next time.